Have you ever felt that life suddenly began conspiring to keep you silent and in total solitude? Often, after the end of a cycle with an emotionally immature person, the world seems to close in, but this is the greatest sign of an awakening. Carl Jung teaches us that synchronicity is not coincidence. If you have found these words now, it is because your soul is ready for the great turning point. This apparent isolation is not an abandonment of destiny, but rather a sacred invitation to rebuild your deepest inner strength. The spiritual meaning behind this moment is the birth of a woman who can no longer be manipulated or silenced. You are being prepared to inhabit a new level of consciousness that demands a complete cleansing of everything that was false. Often, the pain we feel after a toxic experience acts as a catalyst for individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are. For Jung, the wound is the place where light enters our psyche, allowing shadows to finally be integrated and transformed into power. If you have felt diminished or devalued for so long, understand that the universe is now returning to you the command of your own narrative. This video reached you because the frequency of your pain has shifted to the frequency of the search for liberation and self-respect. It is no coincidence that you feel this inner calling to understand the mysteries of your mind and spirit. This is the exact point where suffering ends and your true personal authority begins to manifest clearly. The final phase of a draining relationship is often marked by a frightening emptiness, but this emptiness is, in fact, fertile ground for creation. In Jungian thought, we need to empty the cup of others' expectations so that we can fill it with our own essence and most authentic desires. The pattern of control that once dominated your days now gives way to a freedom that may seem strange at first, but it is yours. The universe removes distractions and false friendships so that you have no option but to look into the mirror of your soul. This confrontation with your true self is what separates ordinary women from those who walk with awareness and wisdom. You are being initiated into a mystery that few people have the courage to face, the complete autonomy of your being. When a woman decides she will no longer accept crumbs, she alters the structure of her reality, and the laws of attraction begin to work in her favor. Carl Jung believed that what we don't bring to consciousness appears in our lives as destiny, and you are finally bringing light to your shadows. The emotional impact you suffered served to break the shell of an old identity that no longer served your growth. Now, under the rubble of what was destroyed, a solid foundation of self-respect emerges that no one can shake or try to tear down again. The spiritual meaning of this process is the transmutation of the lead of manipulation into the gold of solar consciousness. Bright and totally independent, you are living proof that life regenerates stronger after each harsh winter of the human soul. Feel the energy of this moment and perceive how every cell in your body resonates with the truth that the best is yet to come. The universe wouldn't send you this knowledge if you didn't have the capacity to sustain it and transform it into a new reality. You have passed the test of silence and are now being crowned with the clarity necessary to govern your own destiny with a firm hand. Do not fear the solitude that now surrounds you, for it is your invisible army of protection against new attacks on your peace. This chapter of your story is not about what you have lost, but about the immense power you have finally discovered within yourself. The heroine's journey demands courage, and you have demonstrated that you possess enough to walk through the fire and emerge completely renewed. The maturity that comes from experiencing emotional control is something no school or external teacher could teach with such effectiveness. You've learned to read between the lines, to trust your instincts, and to value your peace above any need for external approval. Jung called this stage integration, where you cease to be fragmented by the opinions of others and become a complete and unified being. The silent strength you feel growing in your chest is the result of all the times you chose not to retaliate with hatred. You chose healing, and this choice is what attracts the blessings and synchronicities that begin to emerge in your daily routine. The universe recognizes your resilience and now opens doors that were previously locked by patterns of fear and extreme insecurity. If you feel this message is touching the depths of your soul and bringing you the strength you need to continue, sign up now. By becoming part of this community, you reaffirm to the universe that you are committed to your reconstruction and spiritual evolution. Here, we transform pain into wisdom through the psychology of Carl Jung, always focusing on liberation and the awakening of your feminine power. Click the sign up button so you don't miss the next steps in this healing journey and to strengthen our network of feminine consciousness. Your presence here is fundamental so that more women can find their way back home, back within themselves, with dignity. Together, we are a beacon of light that dispels the shadows of any toxic pattern and builds a future based on respect and love. Individuation requires you to relinquish the need to be understood by those who still live in the deep sleep of unconsciousness and immaturity. Often, the people around you will try to pull you back into a submissive role, but your soul already knows the taste of freedom. Jung stated that being normal is the goal of failures, and you were called to something much greater than simply fitting into the world. The isolation you experienced was the laboratory where you forged your new identity, far from the projections and demands of those who controlled you. Now you walk with a different posture, with a gaze that sees beyond appearances and identifies the truth in every social interaction. This is the spiritual gift of one who survived the desert and found the source of living water within their own heart. Every step you take now is guided by an intuition that has been refined through the most difficult trials a woman can face. The spiritual meaning of this powerful phase is the recovery of your healthy animus, your ability to act, decide, and protect yourself firmly. You no longer need someone to validate your choices because your connection with the self is now your only true compass. The toxic experiences of the past served as an inverted mirror, showing you exactly what you don't want and what you are not. With this clarity, you become immune to new enchantments from people who only seek to drain the light from those who possess their own brilliance. You are the guardian of your own temple and have learned to rigorously select who deserves to cross the boundary of your sacred space. The transformation you are experiencing is visible in your vibrational field, and the right people will begin to be attracted to your new frequency of power. Don't be surprised if new opportunities and much healthier connections arise unexpectedly in the coming days or weeks of your life. The universe is clearing the stage so that you can play the leading role in your existence, without supporting actors trying to steal the scene. Jungian psychology teaches us that the outer world is a reflection of our inner world, and your inner peace will create a garden. You are the architect of this new time, and every thought of self-respect is a brick in the construction of a full and meaningful life. Proceed confidently, for the path is being illuminated by a light that comes from within and will never be extinguished again. Jung compares the process of spiritual rebirth after a draining relationship to the journey of the phoenix, which rises from the ashes of its former self. You had to let go of all the illusions you had about love and loyalty to discover the truth about yourself. This fire didn't destroy you. It only removed the impurities and lies that kept you trapped in an endless cycle of suffering. Now you emerge with new plumage, made of wisdom, clear boundaries, and a deep compassion for your own story of constant overcoming. The spiritual meaning of this metamorphosis is proof that life always finds a way to flourish, even in the most arid and difficult soils. You are living proof that awareness is the greatest antidote against any emotional poison that some have tried to inject into your mind. The solitude that once seemed like a punishment is now revealed as your greatest privilege and your most effective and secure tool of power. It is in silence that you can hear the instructions of your unconscious, which sends dreams and insights to guide your steps in reconstruction. Jung emphasized that the encounter with the self requires moments of withdrawal from the hustle and bustle of the world and the constant demands of social life. You have learned to enjoy your own company, discovering that you are a fascinating person full of talents and a strength you didn't know you possessed. This newfound self-love is what makes you unattainable to those who seek only to fill their own void at the expense of others. You are now whole, and a whole woman does not accept being treated as if she were merely a part or an object of use. The universe sent you this video because it knows you are ready to take responsibility for your own happiness and peace. Spiritual responsibility is the act of stopping blaming the past and starting to plant the seeds of the future you want to live. For Carl Jung, true freedom is only possible when we accept our destiny and decide to transform it into a conscious and beautiful work of art. You are no longer a hostage of circumstances, but the master builder of a new inner cathedral dedicated to truth and transparency. Every boundary you set today is an act of worship to the life that pulsates within you and deserves to be protected. Your most powerful phase begins the moment you say no to what is toxic and yes to your growth. Notice how synchronicities are increasing in your life, as if the universe were winking at you and confirming that you are on the right track. It could be a book falling from the shelf, an unexpected message, or this video that appeared on your screen at the exact moment of your doubt. These are the ways the self finds to communicate that you were never alone, even in moments when you felt the greatest helplessness. Spirituality is the perception of this invisible web that connects us to the whole and sustains us when human structures fail us. You are attuned to an ancestral wisdom that flows through women who, like you, have chosen healing instead of eternal vengeance. Your reconstruction is a service to humanity because every woman who heals helps heal the collective unconscious of the world. The emotional maturity you have achieved is a precious jewel that should be carefully guarded and not displayed to those who do not value it. You have learned to be selective with your words and with whom you have access to your inner world, which is now a closed garden. Jung believed that mystery is an essential part of the strength of the psyche, and you now possess the mystery of knowing who you are. There is no longer any need to prove anything to anyone because your presence speaks louder than any explanation or public justification. You inhabit your body and your life with a dignity that emanates naturally, repelling those who are small and attracting those who are great. This is true power, to be so centered in yourself that external chaos can no longer find an entrance. The powerful phase you are entering is characterized by a mental clarity that allows you to see the truth behind the masks. The toxic pattern that once confused you is now easily identified by you, not with hatred, but with calm and very confident discernment. Carl Jung taught that the shadow, when integrated, becomes a source of vitality and instinctive protection for the individual who embraces it. You are no longer naive, but possess a wisdom that protects you from repeating past mistakes and falling into old traps. The spiritual meaning of this is the awakening of your warrior archetype, the one who knows when to fight and when to simply retreat in peace. Your peace is your most precious possession, and you have learned to defend it with a firmness that is at the same time elegant. At this stage of reconstruction, you begin to realize that the closing of the cycle was, in fact, a great deliverance sent by life itself to save you. What was once seen as an irreparable loss is now understood as a necessary cleansing so that the new could finally have space. Jung saw crisis as an opportunity to reorient the psyche towards what is truly essential and lasting for the human being. You are rebuilding your house on the rock of truth and no longer on the quicksand of emotional manipulation by others. Each peaceful day you now experience is a testament to your victory over chaos and your ability to reinvent yourself. Your new life is not merely a continuation of the old, but a completely new existence with new values and new priorities. The emotional liberation you feel is the result of facing your greatest fears without running away or hiding from yourself. You looked at the pain, felt the impact, and decided that you would not be defined by that experience, but that you would use everything as fertilizer for growth. This is the path of transcendence, where suffering is transformed into a portal to a much higher and more compassionate consciousness of the world. The universe celebrates your courage, for few souls are willing to do the deep shadow work that you have done. You are now reaping the fruits of this dedication, feeling a lightness that is the hallmark of those who have released the weight of the past. Your feminine energy is more vibrant than ever, for now it flows without the shackles of control or constant fear. Consider this period a spiritual retreat where you are being replenished with new, pure energy coming directly from the creative source. The social isolation you may be experiencing is merely the cocoon protecting your transformation until your new wings are strong. Jung believed that the individuation process was a human being's greatest duty to life and to divinity. By caring for your healing, you are honoring the breath of life within you and allowing it to manifest in its fullness. Don't rush back to the outside world, as your inner world is in full bloom and deserves all your attention. The beauty you are cultivating within yourself will soon be visible to all. But first, it must be solidified within you. You are the protagonist of an epic rebirth that will be remembered as the most important turning point in your journey on this earth. The spiritual significance of women rising after a toxic experience is the restoration of feminine dignity throughout modern society. You carry with you the strength of all your ancestors who also had to fight for their own voice and their place in the world. By healing, you break invisible chains that imprisoned generations of your lineage, freeing not only yourself, but the future as well. Your powerful phase is a gift to the world, for a conscious woman is a force of nature that no one can stop. Move forward, with your head held high, for the entire universe is applauding your courage to be yourself, free and powerful. Analytical psychology shows us that the self, the center of our totality, always seeks balance and healing, even in the darkest moments. You were guided through the darkness by an inner lantern that never went out, even when you felt completely lost and directionless. The spiritual meaning of this journey is the discovery that you possess an inexhaustible source of strength that does not depend on anything external. Now you enter the reconstruction phase, where every detail of your life will be chosen with intention, purpose, and profound self-respect. Carl Jung said that we are not what happened to us, but rather what we choose to become from each lived experience. And you admirably chose to become a woman of wisdom, peace, and a power that comes from the soul and spirit. At this point in our journey, I'd like to know from you, can you pinpoint the exact moment when you felt your strength begin to return? How has it been for you to perceive the synchronicities that the universe has placed in your path since you chose healing? Share your story in the comments, because your testimony may be the sign that another woman needs to also believe in her own reconstruction. Your voice is a powerful tool for transformation and helps strengthen our collective consciousness and emotional liberation. Let's talk about these small daily miracles that happen when we decide that we deserve a full, joyful life, free from any control. The maturity you've gained has transformed you into a silent observer of life, someone who no longer lets herself be swept away by the dramas of others. You've learned that your energy is sacred and that you have the right to choose where and with whom you will invest it from now on. This energy conservation is one of the secrets of powerful women who don't waste their brilliance on those who lack the capacity to see it. The universe is now placing you in situations where your new attitude will be tested, and you will proudly see how easy it is to maintain your boundaries. The spiritual meaning of this firmness is the consolidation of your new self, which no longer accepts anything less than excellence in relationships. You are the guardian of your destiny, and now hold the keys to all the doors you wish to open for your future. Rebuilding your self-esteem isn't something that happens overnight, but is a continuous process of reaffirming your sacred value. Every time you choose your well-being instead of pleasing someone who doesn't respect you, you are strengthening your inner psychic structure. Jung believed that self-love was the foundation for any healthy relationship with the world and with the divine that dwells within each being. You are learning to look at yourself with eyes of compassion and admiration, recognizing the heroine who survived great emotional storms. The spiritual meaning of this new vision is the healing of the image that the other person tried to distort about who you truly are in the world. You have recovered your mirror, and now it reflects the truth of your light, your strength, and your unchanging beauty. The powerful phase you are currently experiencing is a state of mind where fear of the future has been replaced by curiosity about new possibilities. You know that, regardless of what happens, you have the necessary tools to handle any situation with grace and emotional intelligence. Spirituality teaches us that confidence is born from the experience of overcoming what seemed impossible to overcome just a day ago. You are a survivor who has become a master of your own life, someone who knows the paths of the underworld and knows how to return. The universe now invites you to enjoy the scenery, to breathe the pure air of freedom, and to celebrate each small daily victory. Your reconstruction is proof that light always triumphs over shadows when there is a heart willing to seek the truth. Individuation, according to Jung, is a process of becoming a unique and indivisible being, free from the pressures of the collective and the shadows of the past. You are on this path now, shedding all the labels and definitions that the manipulative person tried to attach to your identity and soul. The spiritual meaning of having few or no friends at this moment is the need for an empty space so that your new form can stabilize. Don't feel sad about the absence of people, but rather grateful for the presence of your own consciousness, which is now a vibrant companion. The universe is simply clearing the ground so that soul friendships based on truth and respect can one day flourish. You're in a state of emotional purity where only what is real and nourishing will be allowed to remain in the future. The silent strength you emanate now is the result of integrating your pain without letting it turn you into a bitter or aggressive person. You have transformed the impact you suffered into a source of empathy and discernment, becoming a woman who heals simply with her presence. Jung said that the presence of a conscious person is the greatest gift one can give to the world and those around them. You no longer need to make an effort to be noticed because your power now comes from within and shines naturally and irresistibly. The spiritual meaning of this change is the transition from dependence on the ego to the safe and wise guidance of the self, the center of the psyche. You are now a compass for yourself, navigating calm waters with the certainty that you know exactly where you are going. Observe how your tastes and interests are changing, reflecting the new woman emerging from the ashes of your previous toxic experience. Things that once seemed important have now lost their meaning, while new hobbies and passions begin to occupy your time and mind. This renewal is a clear sign that your libido, your vital energy, is being redirected towards what truly brings life. The universe supports this exploration, sending the resources and information necessary for you to develop your hidden and repressed talents. Jungian psychology teaches us that developing our gifts is a form of praise for life and service to our own evolution. You are a field of infinite possibilities, and this is the perfect time to plant the seeds of your new personal reality. The peace you have achieved is a treasure that must be protected with firm boundaries and constant vigilance over who you let in. You have learned that not everyone deserves to know your story or have access to your vulnerability, which is now sacred and precious. The spiritual meaning of being selective is the recognition that you are the steward of your own energy and that it is finite. By saying no to what drains your light, you are saying yes to your mental health and your continued growth. Jung emphasized that the ability to set boundaries is a sign of psychic maturity and successful individuation. You are the queen of your own inner kingdom and now rule with wisdom, justice, and a deep love for yourself. The powerful phase you are in is just the beginning of an even deeper journey towards your wholeness and fulfillment. You have proven that you are capable of transmuting pain into power, which places you in a select group of truly awakened souls. The universe sent this video to confirm that you are not crazy, that you are not alone, and that your process is sacred. Continue trusting your intuition, for it is the voice of the self whispering directions for your success and peace. Rebuilding is a daily act of courage, and you are doing magnificent work that will be rewarded with a life of purpose. Keep shining, for your light guides your path and inspires other women to also seek their own liberation. Looking back at your journey, you realize that the emotionally immature person was, in fact, a stern teacher who forced you to grow. Without the pressures and impacts you suffered, perhaps you would never have sought the depth and awareness you now possess within yourself. Carl Jung taught that even the most difficult experiences can be integrated as valuable parts of our individuation story and personal growth. The spiritual meaning of this realization is the ultimate liberation from the victim role, transforming you into a heroine who triumphed over the shadows of the past. You don't deny what happened, but you also don't allow the past to dictate your present or your future. Now, you are the sole owner of your story, and you hold the pen to write the next chapters with complete freedom. In this moment of deep connection, I ask, what were the boundaries you found most difficult to set, but which now bring you the most peace? How do you feel realizing you no longer need the validation of those who tried to dim your light and your essence? Write in the comments about your daily victories in rebuilding your autonomy, as this inspires our community to move forward. Your experience of setting boundaries is a lesson in self-respect that resonates with all of us who seek peace after the storm. Sharing your progress is a way to honor your journey and extend a hand to those who are still at the beginning of the path. Let's celebrate together the feminine strength that rebuilds itself with intelligence, elegance, and unwavering faith in life and love. The autonomy you have achieved is the foundation for any future relationship based on equality and mutual recognition of values. You no longer seek someone to complete you, for you have discovered that you are already a whole being, with all the necessary tools to be happy. The spiritual meaning of this fullness is the capacity to love without depending, to share without losing yourself, and to give without negating yourself again. Jung believed that the true encounter between two beings is only possible when both are on their own path of conscious individuation. You are ready for connections that respect your individuality and add to your life, instead of trying to subtract from your peace. The universe is now preparing the ground so that true love, free from control games, may one day manifest in your life. Your most powerful phase is characterized by a calmness that comes from knowing you survived the worst and that nothing can shake you anymore. This spiritual resilience is your shield against the world's adversities and against any manipulation attempts that may arise again. You have learned to trust your capacity for regeneration, knowing that, like nature, you have cycles of contraction and expansion. The spiritual meaning of this is attunement to the organic rhythm of life, which does not rush but accomplishes everything perfectly. You no longer live in the anxiety of pleasing others, but in the contentment of being who you are, with all your lights and shadows integrated. This is true mastery of life, where you are the captain of your soul and the mistress of your own destiny. The universe sent this video to remind you that your light is needed in the world and that your healing is a blessing to all. A woman who rebuilds herself after narcissistic abuse becomes an example that human dignity is inviolable when there is awareness and faith. You are being called to live your truth fully, without apologies for being strong, wise, and totally independent. The spiritual meaning of your existence now is to be a living testament to the resurrection of the feminine soul in the new era we are living in. Proceed with courage, for the path is open, and the entire universe conspires for you to achieve the peace you have always deserved. You are powerful, you are loved, and your future is as bright as the awareness you cultivate in your heart today. The rebuilding phase requires you to be kind to yourself, respecting the time your psyche needs to heal all wounds. Jung reminded us that the soul does not follow clock time, but the time of symbols and deep inner maturation. The spiritual meaning of this patience is the recognition that you are a being in constant evolution and that each stage has its own beauty. Don't beat yourself up for still having days of sadness, as they are merely echoes of a past that is being properly processed and released. Your powerful strength lies precisely in your embraced vulnerability and your ability to be honest with your own inner feelings. You are taking care of your inner child, ensuring that it never again feels helpless or silenced by anyone in the world. During this period of productive solitude, you are rediscovering the pleasure of making simple choices based solely on your personal taste and desires. Whether it's what you eat, what you wear, or how you organize your space, everything now reflects your regained autonomy. The spiritual meaning of these everyday acts is the reconsecration of your life to your own self, removing the altar that once belonged to others. You are learning that happiness resides in the small freedoms of being yourself without the constant fear of criticism. Jung saw in these small choices the manifestation of our individual will, which is the fundamental engine of a successful individuation process. You are the artist of your routine, and each of your decisions is a brushstroke of color on a canvas that was once gray and lifeless. The clarity you now possess allows you to see through empty promises and quickly identify those who lack the emotional substance to be by your side. You have developed a spiritual radar that protects you from new intrusions and keeps you safe in your own center of gravity. The spiritual meaning of this discernment is the protection of your vital energy against emotional vampires who seek only to shine with the light of others. You have learned that your presence is a prize and should only be granted to those who demonstrate character, empathy, and genuine respect. This selectivity is not bitterness, but the wisdom of someone who has already paid too high a price for ignoring warning signs in the past. You now walk with open eyes and a heart protected by a wisdom that is the fruit of a real and profound experience. Feel the pride of having come this far, of having survived the desert, and of now contemplating the horizon of a new life. The universe sent this video as a spiritual embrace, confirming that you are seen, heard, and deeply valued for your courage. Jungian psychology teaches us that integrating the shadow makes us more human, complete beings, capable of a happiness that is solid. You are no longer a fragmented person, but a woman who has united her pieces with the glue of self-respect and awakened consciousness. The spiritual meaning of your journey is the transmutation of pain into a force that can move mountains and transform entire realities around you. You are an alchemist of the soul, and the gold you produce now is your own inner peace and your own brilliance. The future that unfolds before you is vast and full of promise that resonates with your powerful and conscious new identity. You don't need to know every step now. Simply trust that the path will reveal itself as you walk with truth and dignity. The spiritual meaning of uncertainty is trust in life, knowing that you possess the inner compass necessary to navigate any sea. You are ready for new beginnings, new friendships, and new loves that will honor the extraordinary woman you have become. Move forward with the certainty that the universe is your ally, and that your most powerful phase is only just beginning. You are proof that the light of consciousness is invincible, and that healing is the destiny of every heart that seeks the truth. The liberation from patterns of emotional control is like opening the windows of a house that has been closed and dark for many, many years. The fresh air of freedom and the light of consciousness now flood every corner of your being, bringing a complete renewal. The spiritual meaning of entering your most powerful phase is the definitive possession of your own will, the most sacred gift we receive. Carl Jung stated that free will begins where consciousness finishes illuminating our complexes and automatic patterns of behavior. You now choose, you now decide, and you are now solely responsible for your emotional well-being and your peace of mind. This sovereignty over yourself is the greatest treasure you could ever acquire, and no one can ever take it from you again. To continue receiving this guidance and further strengthen your journey of healing and awakening, don't forget to subscribe to the channel now. Your subscription is a gesture of commitment to your own evolution and helps bring this light to other women who need strength. By being part of our community, you ensure that you will always have a safe haven of Jungian wisdom to guide your steps in reconstruction. Click the button and activate notifications, because each new video is a step on the ladder of your total liberation and personal power. We are together on this journey towards wholeness, where your brilliance is our greatest inspiration and our greatest reason for celebration. The universe smiles upon those who seek the truth, and your presence here is proof that you are one of those seeking souls. The powerful phase you inhabit is a state of consciousness, where the opinions of others have lost the overwhelming weight they once held. You have learned that the only tribunal that truly matters is that of your own conscience and your connection to the self, the center of the psyche. The spiritual meaning of this independence is the achievement of integrity, where what you think, feel, and do is in total inner harmony. Jung saw in this harmony the pinnacle of mental health and the full flowering of the human potential that dwells within each individual. You now walk with the lightness of someone who has nothing to prove and nothing to hide, simply being the authentic expression of your essence. This transparency is what makes you so magnetic and respected by all those who also seek to live in truth and light. You will notice that your presence now brings a sense of order and clarity to the environments you pass through and move around in. A healed woman becomes an anchor of peace in a world that is often chaotic and full of unnecessary emotional conflicts. The spiritual meaning of being a beacon of consciousness is your silent contribution to the healing of the world and human relationships in general. You inspire others simply by being who you are, without needing to preach or try to convince anyone of your personal truth. Analytical psychology teaches us that the example of an integrated life is the most powerful transformative tool that exists on the face of the earth. You are that transformative force, and the universe uses you as a channel of healing for all who cross your path now. The gratitude you feel now for being free is the fuel that will take you to levels of achievement you never dared to dream of before. Spirituality teaches us that a grateful heart is a magnet for miracles and synchronicities that facilitate our daily journey through life. The spiritual meaning of your new phase is the constant celebration of life, even in the face of the challenges that daily life may present. You have learned to see the beauty in overcoming and the strength in vulnerability, becoming a complete and truly powerful woman at your core. Continue with faith, continue with joy, and continue knowing that the universe is your home and that you are a beloved and protected daughter. Your rebirth is complete, and now it's time to shine with all the intensity of your healed and free soul. The spiritual significance of the universe sending this video specifically to you is the final confirmation that your painful phase is truly over. You crossed the desert, faced the beasts of your own unconscious, and emerged as a wise, just queen, full of royal power. Carl Jung believed that the goal of life is the realization of the self, and you have taken giant steps in that direction with your courage. The reconstruction of your life will now be built on diamond foundations, indestructible and brilliant, reflecting the light of your newly awakened consciousness. You are proof that nothing is impossible for those who sincerely seek healing, and that self-love is the greatest force in the universe. Feel the peace that now dwells in your heart, for it is your reward for never giving up on yourself. The journey you have undertaken has transformed you into a woman who possesses a natural authority, born from lived experience and triumphs achieved with dignity. You no longer need titles or external validation, for your very existence is a testament to your inner strength and wisdom. The spiritual significance of this powerful phase is the restoration of your connection to life and your ability to create your own destiny. You are now free to love, to work, and to live according to your own highest and most sacred terms and values. Jung teaches us that freedom is the heaviest burden and the greatest blessing for a self-aware human being. And you are carrying this blessing with an elegance that inspires all who have the honor of knowing you now. Look to your future with the enthusiasm of someone who knows that the best is yet to be discovered and experienced in its fullness. Reconstruction is not just about what you have regained, but about the new depth with which you experience each moment of your life. The spiritual meaning of your journey is the discovery that paradise is a state of consciousness that you cultivate within yourself. You now inhabit this paradise of self-respect, peace, and liberation, and no one has the power to expel you from there again. Your powerful phase is a gift you gave yourself through much inner work, tears, and an unwavering will to be free. Celebrate your power, honor your history, and live your truth with all the intensity of your being. May each word of this script be a seal of confirmation of your new identity and the radiance you emanate to the whole world. The universe will continue to send signals of support and love as you walk towards your deepest and most authentic dreams now. Carl Jung's psychology served as the map, but it was your courage that traversed the territory and conquered the promised land of peace. The spiritual meaning of your awakening is the beginning of a time of emotional abundance, healthy relationships, and constant joy. You are a powerful, conscious, and fully self-possessed woman, and this is just the beginning of a wonderful success story. Go forth in peace, go forth in light, and continue being this magnificent example of reconstruction and spiritual healing for all of us. Your most powerful phase is, above all, an eternal commitment to never again allow your light to be stifled or diminished by anyone. You have learned the lesson that you are your greatest project, and that your peace is non-negotiable under any condition or circumstance. The spiritual meaning of your victory is the harmony between your ego and yourself, creating a life that is true and full. You are now in direct tune with the creative flow of the universe, which uses you to manifest beauty, truth, and a love that is real. Be grateful for everything you have been through, because every obstacle in your path served to build the ladder that led you to the top of yourself. You have won, you have healed, and you are now free to shine as brightly as the stars in the dark night sky.